Week 34, day 2. We're talking about knowledgeable this week. And the first story is The Hitchhiker. And I'm going to tell you a couple of Zig Ziglar stories that are in See You at the Top. And Zig tells an interesting story in his book, See You at the Top, about a man he picked up hitchhiking. Now, back during this time, hitchhiking was something normal. I spent many a day hitchhiking to go places. People picked you up. So nobody does that anymore because of fear of crazy people. He realized soon that the man had been drinking a bit and was quite talkative. Zig learned the man had been in jail for 18 months for bootlegging. Zig asked the hitchhiker if he had learned any trades or skills to help him make a living now that he was a free man. The man then shared an enormous task. Shared what he had learned, every county in every state in the United States. Let me say that again. The man said he had learned every county in every state in the United States. Zig, realizing what an enormous task this would be, was eager to test his rider's knowledge. Being from South Carolina, Zig asked him to name those counties. He quickly recited from memory the South Carolina counties. Now, what good is that knowledge? What good would that knowledge be for you to have? In his book, See You at the Top, Zig Ziglar tells a story about getting his car stuck in the alley behind his home. It was terribly muddy after a very heavy rain. He tried for almost an hour with planks of wood, bricks, anything to create enough traction for his car to get unstuck. He finally gave in and called a tow truck. The tow truck driver asked Zig if he could try to get the car out of the mud. Zig assured him that it was impossible. After all, Zig had tried for almost an hour. The tow truck driver sat in the car and jockeyed it a couple of times. He turned and steered slowly and drove it out of the mud. Zig was astonished and expressed his astonishment to the tow truck driver. He then explained that he had grown up in an area where heavy rains made it necessary to know how to get out of these situations. Question number 1. What's the reason you have elite mechanics? Is there a need for elite repairman? You know, one of the pet peeves that I had the entire time that I was in education was listening to counselors tell kids, you got to go to college. You have to go to college. College is the key. If you go to college, you are a success. You know, I never thought that to be true. I had a kid, and I told this story before, most of these stories you heard before. That was he was almost too smart for his own good. He could talk, and sometimes he was so over everybody's head that nobody listened to him. But he was deep, and he was very profound. And he went to college and made straight A's. And he came by the house one day and he said, you know, Coach, I'm miserable. I said, really? He said, yeah. And I said, you got bad grades? No, I got straight A's. What's the problem? I don't have any desire to learn the things that they're teaching. Really? What do you want to do? I want to learn to be a welder. I've got a friend of mine that's a welder, and he's doing really well, and he's making $20-something an hour, and they're paying for his room and all. He said, that's what I want to do. And I said, well, why don't you do it? Well, everybody says I ought to go to college because, you know, I make straight A's, and I'm really a good student. And I said, don't you think you could make straight A's in welding? Yeah. I said, then why would you concern yourself with what other people think? If you want to be a welder, go be a welder. he took the advice, he became a welder, and now he's making lots of money doing good work, and I mean, he's happiest he can be. And that's why I think my dad told me something one time that I never forgot. And my dad had a third grade education. And he said, you know, Dennis, there are happy janitors and common laborers. And there are miserable bankers. Well, you know, I think that goes to show you that there are people that are called to do one thing or another, and they get talked into doing something else. And because they get talked into doing something else, they're miserable doing what it is. Where your knowledge is, take that knowledge you have, the knowledge you have, and make a profession with it. There's a lot of things that you can do that make you successful. Don't let other people tell you what you need to do. Be happy in what you do. And take the knowledge you have and use it to make yourself happy. Make it a great day.